Hello everyone and welcome to Spot. Today we're gonna review the Tal Rasha Sorceress, and this one is quite an interesting build. She's not exactly a glass cannon type of a character, at least the way I've built her. So let's go into it. First up, let's start with the distribution points. And that one is really simple. You just put absolutely everything into vitality and nothing else matters. That way you can create a decent life pool, so you can sustain yourself in a fight a little bit longer than the other type of sorceress builds normally do. So let's go over the skill distribution now. This one particularly is a hybrid type of build. We're using the cold as well as the lightning spells. And first up, let's start with the fire spells. So in that tree you only have to put one single point into one. This is the one skill wonder. That one is really useful because if you look into it, it passively increases the rate at which your mana recover. And this one is really good because we are a caster and we rely extremely heavily on mana to be able to cast our spells and be able to do damage. So that one at the moment is increasing our mana regeneration by 174%, which is really good. That's why you only have to put a single point into it. The rest of the skill points are coming from your charms and gear. So that's about the fire skills. Let's go over the cold spells now. So in this tree, I've decided to go for the frozen orb skill. And I've only invested 20 points into frozen orb, but not this synergy ice bolt, and that way our damage is a little bit lower on the on the frozen orb side, but we're compensating that with our lightning damage skills. So you only have to put 20 hard points into frozen orb. The rest of the skills you're seeing are one single point each, apart from the cold mastery. We're gonna talk about it in a second. So let's go over the lightning spells now. In here, I've decided to go for lightning as well as charge bolt, simply because if you look at the synergies for charge bolt, there is only one, and that's lightning. And this is really helpful thing to help you to reduce the amount of skills needed to max a certain skill and utilize the maximum amount of damage you can get from it. So our charge bolt is buffed up as it can get. It's level 20 hard points and it doesn't do a lot of damage, but is actually killing monsters quite decently. So our main skill from lightning attack is a lightning skill. This one hits quite hard, to be honest with you. So if you take a look at the synergies for it, we've been using one out of the three synergies, which is the charge bolt. So we've been able to buff it up quite a bit, and the damage output is actually not that bad from this skill. It's not even close compared to the pure lightning sorceress. They're doing way more damage than that, but we're quite happy with the amount this one does. So as a side up skill, we're actually using a thunderstorm. This one is hitting the monsters every once in a while with, let's say, 1k damage on average. This is pure lightning damage, so it can help you a little bit. It also tends to stun the monster it hits for like a second, so this is a bonus as well. And so we've put 20 points into charge bolt, we've put 20 points into lightning, and then we've put 20 points into lightning mastery. So this is our lightning skills, and then the rest of the skill points you get with your levels and quests you have to dump into cold mastery. This one doesn't increase your cold damage, but decreases the enemy's cold resistances, and that way it helps you to do more damage as well. So that's about the skill distribution. And let's go over the more interesting part of the build, the items now. So as I've already said, we're using the Tal Rasha set, and you might wonder how are we able to utilize the set without putting a single point into strength or dexterity, and that's not that hard, to be honest with you, so let's go over the charms first. Basically, you need to carry with you a Hellfire Torch, and this charm is gonna help you dramatically to wear all that gear without dumping any single points into strength or dexterity. Because if you take a look at the things it provides, apart from the 3 Sorceress skills levels, it gives 20 to all attributes, and this is absolutely amazing because, yeah, if you can take a look without it, we're not actually wearing anything from our set. So you really need that Hellfire Torch to be able to do this strength bug, it's also called. And when you're strength bugged, when other players look into your character, you might appear naked for them. Doesn't matter that you're actually wearing your gear. And the other charm needed to be able to achieve that is the Annihilus. This one is not that good, it's quite low, to be honest with you, but still it gets quite a lot of attributes boosting up to our pool, so that way we can get 58 strength. And another thing I've done, if you take a look at the armor, this one has been soaked with a Hell Rune, which boosted up the requirements minus 75%. It normally is minus 60, so we added another 15% to it. And that way we're actually using the armor way easier without requiring that many strength points as it normally does. And the other thing I've done, I've soaked the Lidless Eye with a quite interesting jewel. That one particularly is giving 6 to strength and 10 to energy, as well as cold resistance 18. And because if you take a look at the weapon doesn't require any stats to be put on. And when you put a jewel, which boosts up your strength stats with a bit, you can actually put the weapon straight on without investing any points into strength, and this will also increase your strength amount, so you can put the rest of the gear on without having to invest any strength points. And this set is quite interesting. You can run the whole game content with it because it provides a really good options for Sorceress, and this one is designed around the magic finding in mind. We're not running extremely high percents of magic finding, but we're a little bit close to 300%, which is, I'd say, the optimum you'd require from your character, because if you decide to go over that, you start to decrease the damage you're doing, so you're killing monsters slower and slower when you go higher up with the magic find percentage, and there's also a lot of diminishing returns the higher you get with it, so I'd say cap it at around 300%, that's the optimum you'd require from your character. So let's go over the rest of the gear now. As I've already said, the armor is being soaked with a Hell Rune. Ideally, you'd like to put a jewel with a minus 15% requirements option, as well as some other things like added strength, for example, added life, added mana. Some resistances would be awesome. Also, you can get ones with faster hit recovery maybe, or magic find. Anything basically as a second or third option would be totally amazing to soak into the armor. And our helm, that one is maximum on the percentages and that, so it's been soaked with an interesting jewel, which provides 7% of faster hit recovery, as well as it was 17% poison resist as far as I believe. Yeah, that's been 17% poison resist. So that way we could have actually reached our 75% on each one of the resistances. And this is quite good because we're quite tankier that way. So let's go over the belt. This belt is quite good, to be honest with you, because it gives 30 mana, it gives 37% damage taken goes back to mana, which is quite good. It helps you to sustain your mana whenever you take damage. It also gives some percent of magic finding. And if you take a look at all the options the Tal Rasha set provides, they're really good. It gives 3 to Sorceress skills levels, 25% to faster hit recovery, 150 to defense, 50 defense versus missiles, 150 to life, replenish life 10, which is really good, All resistance is 50 and additional 65% better chance of getting magic items. That's why I've said this character is designed around magic finding in mind. And let's go over the gloves now. So I'm really proud of these gloves. They're quite amazing, to be honest with you. So they only provide 3 decent options, but they're really good. So cold resistance 19, fire resistance 30, and 25% better chance of magic finding, sorry. And if you take a look, without those gloves, our resistances are not capped. So let's go over the boots now. Boots, again, I'm really proud of. These are rare boots. They give 30 faster run walk, as well as 10% faster hit recovery, dual resistances, as well as magic find. So that way we're boosting our resistances and magic finding, as well as being able to reach the faster hit recovery of 86, which is totally needed to be able to survive and teleport and not getting stun locked with the Sorceress. This is absolutely notorious. When you start teleporting around, you might go into a bunch of mobs and actually get yourself stun locked, and you cannot escape the monsters, and eventually they'll kill you. So you really need to have at least 86% of faster hit recovery to be able to sustain yourself and not get stun locked. So this is really important, as I've already said. And let's go over the shield now, because we're not putting any points into strength at all. We're not using the spirit shield, and I've decided to go for the splendor shield. This one is really good as well. As you can see, it gives 1 to all skills, as well as 10% faster cast rate, 20% faster block rate, 10 to energy, which is helping up with the mana pool, as well as regenerate mana 15%, and there's a 20% of magic find on that shield, which is really good. This also helps us with the magic find percentages in total. So let's go over the rings now. So I'm using one SOJ because of the added skill bonuses and the mana, and the other one is actually a faster cast rate ring, because you need that one to be able to reach the faster cast rate of 63%. Without it, it goes to 60 with the rest of our gear, and you really need to have at least 63% to go into the next frame. So with that ring, we're actually hitting 70, so we're going into the faster cast rate frame, the next one. We're hitting it. It also gives fire resist 7 and poison resistance 17, as well as level 1 poison dagger charges, which are absolutely useless, but as you can see, there's 9% better chance of getting magic items, which is also stacking quite well with the rest of our gear. And our character have in total 288% of magic find as it is, which is, as I've already said, quite close to 300. Of course you can go higher than that, but as I've already said, you don't really need to, because you start to decreasing the time which you kill the monsters. So there's pluses and minuses going for more. I don't like to. So in my eyes, 300 is the optimum you'd require from your character. Let's go over the rest of the charms now. Oh, forgot the amulet. So the amulet is quite decent because it gives 2 to sorceress skill level, as well as decent chunk of mana and life, some resistances. And it gives 10% faster cast rate, as well as the armor, as well as the belt, excuse me. And our charms are nothing special, so we got some small charms with magic finding. That way we're boosting our magic find quite a lot. And the rest of the charms, the small charms at least, are simple ones with life, just to increase our life pool a little bit. And this charm is quite interesting. It gives 4 to strength and 25 to mana. And we got life skewer with 6 strength. And those 4 grand charms are faster hit recovery plain ones, just to be able to hit the 86% of faster hit recovery which I talked about. Without them, the character is getting stun locked for sure. Ideally, you'd like to get skillers, let's say lightning or cold skillers with 12% FHR. That way you boost your damage even higher. So that's about the inventory and the items and the charms. So let's show you the character in action so you can get an idea how successful she is. And let's say we start up with Travinco run. So first up, in our swap hand we got a CTA to buff with. This one is nothing spectacular. And as a shield we're also using Splendor again just to boost the skill levels by 1. So first up we buff up with a CTA. Then we swap back and we go into Frozen Armor. And this one is absolutely amazing because the defense bonuses you get is outstanding. Take a look now. So we got a little bit over 1300 defense, and now with the Frozen Armor we got over 2600 defense, which is double than what we had before. And when our mercenary starts using his Defiance Aura, our defense is gonna increase by a lot again. So that way our character is quite strong and tanky. As I've already said, she's not the glass type of a character build. As you can see, our life pool is quite decent, our resistances are at maximum 75%, and we're also having a good amount of defense, and our damage is decent enough to kill enemies quick, so they don't kill us instead. And let's go and do the Travinco fight. So first up I like to start with the Frozen Orb, because that one is freezing up all the enemies which are not immune to cold, and that way they're slower, so they're not likely to attack you as much and do damage to you. So you just have to be a little bit careful with this character, because she's not really running big percentages of block chance. Our block chance is actually 9%, so she can be killed quite easily whenever monsters start hitting her hard, or she gets around it. So as I've already said, you just have to be a little bit more careful. In fact, this is a sorcerer, so keep that in mind. And yeah, that's about it pretty much. The Travinco run's finished, so enemies were quite easy to run. And let's go over Act 5 for example. So let's kill Eldritch. Eldritch and his minions are actually immune to cold, so in this situation you can utilize the lightning and the charge bolt skills. And I like to do this as a combo. So what you do first, you use the charge skill, and as long as the bolts are flying towards your enemies, you start casting the lightning at the same time. So that way your lightning and charge bolts are hitting the monster at the same time, and you deal significantly more damage instead of just hitting with the charge bolt or the lightning. That way you're hitting with 2 skills at once, so you really increase your damage by a lot. So let's go and kill Shankdovers here now. Oh, I really hate these archers. They can be quite hard on your health and kill your mercenary actually. So gotta be careful with them. So I'd like to clear them first, and let's go over Shank now. So Shank and his minions are again immune to cold, so we need to use the lightning skill, but that's not a problem at all. And as you can see, we're really killing super quick. Our damage is decent enough, 5 to 11k. Our charged bolt skill is doing almost 500 damage. Our Frozen Orb is doing a little bit over 500 damage as well. And now when our mercenary Defiance Aura procced, you can see our defense goes up to 6.3k, nearly 6.4k, which is quite a lot for a caster, to be honest with you. That's why I've also decided to use the Act 2 Defiance Aura mercenary, just to boost the defense quite a lot. Because if you remember, we've started with a little bit over 1300 defense, and now we got quite way more. Our defense increased significantly, so that way, as you can see, there's a 33% chance for the enemy burning archer to hit us instead of, let's say, 60 or 70 or 80%. So that's really good and helpful. And yeah, basically you can do each one of the game bosses, you can do all of the game content without any problem. And also you can do few experiments with combinations of skills and that. The ultimate combo I like to do is cast a frozen orb, and while the frozen orb flies, I cast the lightning skill in the same time. And that way you're hitting the monsters with the frozen orb and the lightning at the same time, and this really do a lot of damage, and you get them frozen as well. So this is really cool. So we're in the Chaos Sanctuary now. We're gonna run Diablo just to get an idea how quick we can do that. So as I've already said, this character is really strong. She got decent life pool, decent resistance pool. Our mana goes back because of the meditation hour from the insight on our mercenary. We have boosted our defenses significantly by using the defiance hour on the mercenary as well. So the character is really tanky. And let's go a little bit further. So every once in a while you just need to recast the buff from your CTA. So you got your increased life pool and mana pool as well as skills. And as you can see, all the monsters die quite easily. And the bonus from going hybrid build instead of just a regular fire build or lightning or cold is that when you start getting on a health difficulty, if you take a look at the monsters, most of them are having immunities, let's say lightning immune, fire immune, cold immune. And when you go for a single element, you're not able to clear all the monsters on the map, and this really limits the amount of content you can do with a Sorceress. And by going into 2 elements, you can actually clear everything, because there's not really all that many monsters which are immune to lightning and cold at the same time. And even if you do manage to find 1 or 2 of them on the map, you got your mercenary with you all the time. So let's get over the mercenary a little bit. As I've already showed you, it's using the Insight run work. This one is quite low, to be honest with you. Ideally, you'd like to get a ethereal one, so that the damage output is significantly higher than that. And the armor is nothing special again. I've just put the smoke run word. This one is quite decent for a mercenary. It's really cheap to make as well. As you can see, it gives 20% faster hit recovery as well as 50 of resistances, so that way our mercenary is staying alive and gets his resistances capped. And he's also given a decent amount of defense, so his defense is over 11k, so he's really tanky as well. And he's using Andario's Visage. This one is giving 28 to strength, 10% life stolen per hit, which is helping him to stay alive because he's leeching life, and he's also got increased attack speed, which is really good because the damage output that way is higher than it normally is. With another helmet. So let's continue with the run. As I've already said, I really like to do this combo of doing frozen orb and hitting with the lightning at the same time, but this one only works to enemies which are not immune to lightning or cold, so it's quite rare to do it, but when you can, it's really worth doing so, because your damage output is really strong and really high that way, by utilizing the 2 skills. So yeah, as you can see, enemies are dying really easily. You just stay in the back and cast your spells. Sometimes you need to dodge an attack or 2 maybe, and that's about it pretty much. You might just need to use a potion every while and then, just to regenerate your life. And buffing up with CTA. So let's go over the rest of the monsters now. Ooh, these are quite quick. Our mercenary actually died, so we better go to revive him, because we really need him for the defiance and the meditation hours. So let's be a little bit more careful with those monsters now. Yet again, you can see how easily they die. So War Disease is immune to cold, but this doesn't matter because we're using the lightning skill. And our lightning damage is quite good also. So we're killing the monsters at a decent speed. So let's carry on with the run. So ideally you'd like to kill all the rare minions and mobs on the map, because you can get some decent drops from them. You might get a unique or some godly rare, you never know. So it's best to kill everything when you can. And those champion packs can be really helpful. They also provide you with way more experience than the regular monsters do, so if you're running for a higher level, it's good to kill large quantities of them, because otherwise the grind is superiorly long. So let's go over the Infector of Souls now. Ooh, that one was close. I just teleported right in the middle of the monster pack. But yet again, because I had enough of faster hit recovery, I've been able to teleport back and survive. Other way, I would be dead now. So this only showed us how important the faster hit recovery actually is. And let's carry on and open up Diablo. So let's just pre-buff before the fight. And now I'm going to kill Diablo. Also, you can use static field, that's up to you. You can kill him way quicker with that. So let's spawn some charge bolt first. Some frozen orb. And let's hit him with the lightning and frozen orb combo. So as you can see, we're quite tanky and we killed Diablo quite quick. That's on hell difficulty again. And yeah, I think that's about it, guys. This character turned out quite well. We're not using any extremely expensive gear or anything like it. This character is really easy to achieve, easy to make. Basically all you need is the Tal Rasha set and a few charms with strength and your Splendor shield. And yeah, that's about it, to be honest with you. It's really easy character to make, really easy to play. I quite like it. She's decent for magic finding runs. Also, you can run all of the game content on all of the difficulties. You can rush people for their runs and that, so you can make additional profit doing that. And I'm really happy with this character. Again, this is a hybrid build, so you're not limited to the monsters you can kill. You can kill pretty much everything. And again, our mercenary has got nothing special on him, so it's a really cheap setup as well. And yeah, that's about it, guys. Hope you like it, and subscribe, drop a comment, drop a like, stay tuned, and see you later. Bye!